Yesterday we saw the 22nd and 23rd haphazardly. We shall see it. Purusaha sa paraha partha bhaktya labhyastvananyaya yasyandasthani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. That highest Purusa, we were discussing about the Purusa. And we have seen so many different meanings of Purusa. O Arjuna is attainable by unswerving devotion to him alone, within whom all beings dwell, and by whom all this is pervaded. That Purusa, we saw yesterday the meaning of Purusa, one who is ever all-pervading, one who fills up, purayati, one who fills everything. He is called Purusa. So the absolute existence which is ever present everywhere, so it is filled with this only. So that is also called Purusa. And Pure Seti iti, one who abides in the house or in the chamber, he is also called Purusa. And similarly, one who gives abode to all beings and who abides in all beings, he is also called Purusa. In this way, different meanings. But there is no difference in the meanings. Same thing, seen from different angles, and different terms are used as per the seers has seen it. One who abides everywhere in all beings, and all beings abide in him. Vasudeva, Purusaha, same meaning. So can it be one individual limited being? Can it be? In no way. By no means it can be individual limited being. It will be all-pervading universal being. Then only it will be able to abide in all beings, and all beings will abide in him. And one who feels everything, same thing. Feels everything means present everywhere, at all conditions. So that is also same thing. The absolute existence, absolute knowledge of it, because it is present everywhere. So it knows everything. So it controls everything. So the omnipotent, omniscient and omnipresent, the same thing, Purusa or the Vasudeva or Vishnu. Vishnu, all pervasiveness is known as Vishnu. And also Krishna. All these names of the Supreme God, they are of same meaning. The roads are many, but the aim is one. All the roads lead to Rome. All the paths from foothills reach the climax top of the hill. So, call it as you like, as you've seen, as you able to see it. but it is all the same. There is no contradiction anywhere. So in this way that absolute presence, absolute knowledge and absolute awareness, existence or controlling power or whatever you say in absolute sense, that is called Purusha. And then we saw Yatra Kale Tvanavrittim Avritim Cha Yoginah Eva Yoginah Prayata Yanti Tam Kalam Bhakshami Bharatarsava. I shall tell you different times when the individual soul, they depart from the body, the departure time and conditions from this body or from this plane to the astral planes. Now I will tell you, O chief of Bharatas, the times depending at which the yogis will return or not return, both which time they depart and they will come back home, and which time home means to the earthly plane, and which time they depart from here not to come back again. The boy goes to have some job somewhere. He goes to office every day. He comes back home every day. But the girl goes to his father-in-law's house. She doesn't come every day. She doesn't come back. She will come once in a while, nobody knows when. So in this way, the time factor of departure is most important. In astrology, generally, Chaughadiya, they see time for yatra, Rahukal, and which day to go to which side. Saturday and Sunday it is good to go northward, not southward. There will be some accidents or something bad. Friday, our Moti Bhai started and it was daytime. If you start at early morning, nobody sees you. It will be less effective, bad way, and more effective in good way. Timing is there. So he went by after 8 or so. It was not good time, and he was the vehicle was stopped at the side road. Nobody was there on the road, and some person came and struck at the back. It was not expected, unexpected. And Swamiji was there, Moti was there, they not there, they took the photo and caught hold of the driver of the car behind who struck the vehicle. Then he was caught red-handed. He could not run away. All the photos were taken. So He was a lawyer and he understood he was wrong. So, of course, somehow or other, he admitted his wrong driving and he paid to repair the vehicle. So, timing. And in Swara Shastra, your breath, which nostril working fully, left or right, or both are working equally, Ida, Pingala, Susumna, and moon, sun, and equal Susumna, both. Ganga, Jamuna, Saraswati. Different names are given. According to Swara Shastra means, according to the science of prana, prana is all pervading in the universe. That prana is not only air, but it is the vital energy which gives a momentum to everything. That is called prana. It is all pervading. So if you can control your prana at the time of departure for doing something or to go in a journey, at that time if you are able to control the prana, then everything is in your clutches. And that is different science altogether. And time also is a science at which time what to do and what not. Muhurta prakarana. What is the time for marriage? What is the time for this initiation? What is the time for starting the building? Vastu Shastra is there. The science of engineering. It depends upon time and directions, to which side you must have main door and to which side the windows, where should be your shrine, where should be your, in the building, in what direction your store, your means your store and bathroom, etc. Which side there should be fireplace, means cooking and all other things, your kitchen, and which side there should be water ponds. All these are very effective. When you get out from the main gate of your house, if you look at some thorny plants, it is not good. Oil is not good. You see, omens, they have also got some effect. Everything has effect on everything. The whole world is a cooperative society. Every atom has influence over the other atom. That's how the whole world works. It is a total momentum. How if some children are sitting in a circle, close up to each other. If you push one, then he will push the other, the thirst will pass on from one to the other, and the last will push the first. In this way, the whole world works. That's how they say, if a butterfly flaps here, other end of the universe, there will be tsunami, there will be dissolution. But it doesn't happen. Why? Because every now and then, action and reaction influence over each other. Your influence over me, my influence over you, they react against each other, and plus minus sometimes remains a little or zero. In this way, the whole world exists. Or else, see these planets around the sun, subplanets, planets, they will cross, dashing against each other, because they are influenced by each other. Everything has its influence, that is called gravitational force. The force means influence. You drag me towards you, I drag you towards me, so the force is counteracted, and the remaining, the stronger will win over the weaker, that is the natural law. So, the strong power will influence the less powerful object. If the fire is too big, if you put one bucket of water, it evaporates in forest fire. And if it is the fire of the oven, if you put one bucket of water, it subsides then and there. So, influence or counteracting of the power is everywhere calculated. In this way, the calculation is the main process of astrology. Astrology, all the beings in this universe, how all these bigger beings, influential beings, that means big stars, planets and subplanets, how do they act against each other? They calculate, and then they give you the result. Your birth time, 1 second, if this side and that side, then there will be so much difference in calculation. So, taking the exact birth time, if some good mathematician who does astrology calculations, he will give you the perfect decision when you are going to have something. The future will be calculated. In this way, time has a very great effect on our beings. Time means, here time means situations also, and influence of the surroundings over you, nearby or far off. All these objects have influence over you. If we see all these in an elaborate way, from a wide angle, then we see everything has its meaning. time of arrival, time of departure, and at that time how the situations are around you. All of a sudden you were sleeping in your bed, all of a sudden there is some terrific sound, say the sound of earthquake or volcano or something, breaking of the mountains, landslides. Yes. So all of a sudden, in that dark night, you come out and run. What will happen to you? Huh? Anywhere you can fall down. Anything can happen to you. But if it is daytime, you are inside the room and you come out all of a sudden knowing nothing. Will you meet such accidents? Because it is daytime. So in this way, darkness and light has also got influence over you, everyone. Your mind, your prana, the light and darkness, everything has its influence. So Lord Krishna says, we have taken birth on this earth plane. So of course now you have already born. So why to go back to birth time? But death time it has to come. So you must be very, very aware. You must be very, very sensible, very much aware at what time you have to depart from this body, from this earthly plane, and what will happen. Considering all these, Lord Krishna explains the time of departure from this body. One should understand it. The right example we shall see. Bhishma Pitamaha, who had the death at his will, whenever he will wish, then only he will leave this body. Such a powerful person. He was wounded, he could not get up, and he didn't die, though anybody had been compelled to die, but he didn't die. He had no body sense, but he was aware when to leave this body and go. So he waited for Uttarayana. When the battle of Mahabharata was going on, it was end of Dakshinayana. It was almost Pausamas. And in Magh, when Makar Sankrant comes, then only sun will have Uttarayana Gati. He will start northward. That is auspicious time. So he waited for it. And when the time came, he left the body. In this way, astrology, Swara Shastra, and all these signs of different aspects of the nature, time, situations, prana, and you see day, night, all these have their effect on you. on everyone. So naturally over everybody you must know. Lord Krishna says, Yatra kale tvanavrittim avrittim chava yoginah prayatayanti tam kalam bhakshami bharatarsava. Oh, the chief of Bharatas, now I will tell thee the times departing at which the yogis will return or not return to this earthly plane or to this cycle of birth and death. I shall declare to you, O Prince of the Bharatas, the time at which if the yogis leave their body, they will not be born again. And also, when if they die, they will be born again. Both the opposites I will tell you clearly with reasonings. To return means to be born again. To return to this earthly plane because you are departing from this plane. And this gross body belongs to the earthly plane. It is gross, so it is made up of 5 basic elements, but it has become gross because of more of earthly essence. Now he says on 24th sloka, Agner Yotihi Aha Sukla Sanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahmam Brahmavido Janaha. Now he is telling the positive side. Agni, fire, Jyoti, light, Aha, day, Shukla, the bright hour of the lunar fortnight, Sanmasa, 6 months, Uttarayanam, the northern path of the sun, and Brahma, to Brahman, the absolute, Brahma Vidaha, knower of the Brahman. So in this way, now he is telling about the ascending path, where one goes not to return again, or he will not return, but he will have gradual advancement, and in the end he will merge in the absolute. Fire, light, daytime, the bright fortnight, the 6 months of the northern path of the sun, the northern solstice, departing then by these men, yogis, who know Brahman, go to Brahman, the absolute truth. And what is that absolute Brahman? So that we have to know all these. The mysteries of the nature. You see, the nature has got pairs of opposites. Everywhere there is opposite to each other, opposition to each other. Where there is day, there is night. Where there is good, there is bad. So in this way, the nature is known as the relative world, comparative world. Every two will be compared, and then the intellect decides what is what. This is how mind, intellect and ego who decides, I am the decider, or the seer or the thinker. In this way the ego comes, and whatever all these they do together, mind, intellect, ego, etc., all these memories or the impressions, they are collected, and that collective uh, store is known as chitta, the subconscious mind. So in this way, they are inter-cooperative triangular society, one and depending, cooperating, interdepending, uh, acting society, group. So what happens? The nature has always comparative degrees and relationships, that is comparison, and one is opposite to the other. So what happens? When there will be good, there will be bad. So in this way, it is constituted by everything opposite to each other. So day and night, light and darkness. Light is taken as positive and night, darkness is taken as negative. Why? Because the absence of day is known as the night, darkness. Absence of light is known as darkness. So, what happens? What is called light? Light is nothing but the knowledge. How it is? Light reveals the objects. Darkness, when the light is absent, the revelation of the objects, the clarity, the visibility is not there for these senses. The eyes cannot see it. Sometimes the ears cannot hear clearly. Sometimes the skin cannot touch. The nose cannot smell, or the tongue cannot taste. So, when the senses are unable to perceive the object, that is called darkness. Inability is known as darkness, and ability is known as light. So that ability or revelation or clarity is known as light. So light is nothing but knowledge. In this way, light is considered, and truly it means so. Without light we cannot see, we cannot know the objects, we cannot perceive it, no information we have. So it is darkness without light. That means we are not aware of, we are not perceiver of the object. That is called night or darkness. Light is knowledge or clarity or awareness. So in that way, if you take the light which is self-effulgent, we kindle one light by the other. The candle, from one candle we light other many candles. From one lamp we lit the other lamps. ज्योत से ज्योत जगाते चलो, प्रेम की गंगा बहाते चलो. राह मिलेंगे जो दीन दुखी, उनको गला लगाते चलो. प्रेम की गंगा बहाते चलो. ज्योत से ज्योत जगाते चलो. All these relative lights, they are dependent on each other. But the absolute light, self-effulgent light, that is not dependent. So the absolute light is the absolute knowledge. It is revelation of by itself. You have to not use the torchlight to see the lamp, because it is self-effulgent. But in the beginning it was dependent. Now it is self-supported. So to look at the lamp, whether it is burning or not, you don't need any other light to see it. Similarly, the self-effulgent, which is not dependent, the absolute light is called the absolute knowledge. Absolute knowledge means absolute awareness of everything at every conditions. It is unconditional. So we have to consider the situation of light in every moment of our life, whether you are aware of it or not. That awareness is called light. So when you are always aware of yourself, then there is no need of all these timing and day and night consideration. All these are relatively meant for the worldly persons. We are in the world. We are in the dualistic world. We are subject to relationship, dependency, comparative degrees. So we have to consider the time and light and day, light and darkness. All these are essentially necessary. Whatever you do, all your actions are motivated or directed or influenced by this time and light and darkness, all these facts and figures. So see how is our life. Every action is dependent on all these. If you are aware what you think, so you speak. What you speak, so you do. That is called awareness or presence of mind or reality of life. That is the meaning of life. You will lead a meaningful life. If your thoughts, speech and actions don't coincide with each other, that means whatever you think not. Whatever you speak not, you don't mean so. Meaning means if you do it practically what you speak, then that has some meaning, or else it has got no meaning. So that's how it is said, You speak but speak not. You don't know what you speak. You don't know what you do. You don't know what you think. So what is your position? The greatest fool under the sun. In this way, the conditions of all of us, each of us. That's why Lord Krishna awares Arjuna, "O Arjuna, you are fighting the battle. Any moment you can depart from this body." Who knows what happens? Such great warriors, they also fell dead. Nobody can predict what will happen. Time is most mysterious. So, you should be always aware. And whatever you do, you should be always have a presence of mind or awareness. You should know the time and the situations. What are you doing at what time? What will have effect of it on others and yourself? All these are should be always aware of. Of course, we are human beings. Arjuna as Nara means the best among the human beings, so near and dear to the God. He was the best among beings. Then how do these animals, birds, insects, they know the time and situations? You see, before earthquake or something dangerous which is going to happen, the rats, the rabbits, all these birds or animals, they get to know it. Before that, they get aware and do the needful. They leave the place, go away somewhere else. When the strong, you see, storm is going to happen, the birds get away from that place. They know. They are aware of it. How do they get to know all this?
Even nowadays they are knowing when the gates of dam are opening.
Yes, yes.
तो डैम गेट ओपन होने से एक भी जानवर मरता नहीं तो
कभी नहीं मरेंगे, कोई नहीं मरेगा.
आदमी तो नहीं मरता.
They save themselves. They are aware of it. How do they know? Have they studied all these astrology and all this geography and geology and all these timings? Have they got all these quartz watches? How do they know? Yes, come on.
Even their growth of rate is much faster than the human.
They are more right than human beings. Even a second will not be this side, that side.
Every year from Antarctica to India they come.
Yes,
Every year.
from northern hemisphere, the top northern areas,
Siberian.
the birds come towards the south for more every year. In India, we have some bird sanctuaries.
Banaras.
Yes. Huh? Yes, yes. So how do they know? And instinct, what is called instinct. You see, the tortoise They come from thousands of kilometers from cold oceans to warm water ocean
Every year they come
to lay eggs, and they go back again. How do they know all this? Instinct. What is called instinct? The whole body is built up, composed by all these five elements, not only human beings, all the bodies of all the beings. They are the effect of Panchikaran. All these five elements, they in different ratios they mix with each other and create different objects and different beings. And then prana enters in different ratios according to the composition of the body system. Prana enters to it to activate, because prana also is all-pervading. So in this way, in some kind of good composition of the bodies, that means human beings, the prana enters in different ratio, then it enters to all other inferior beings to some extent to activate it. There is prana in vegetation life also, in insects also, in the bigger animals and birds also. So all these five elements are there, and the change of all these is known as time. So time is everywhere there. And the body itself, the actions of the body itself is called time. That is called instinct. The body of human being also knows it. The yogis know the time by instinct. They don't keep any watches. They don't have to compare anything. Watches are nothing but comparative calculations. But instinctively the yogis know it by breathing, by actions, they know it. How the body, every cell, every action of the body is according to time. Everything repeats, time repeats, repetition, and because of repetition, because of changes, it progresses, it has got advancement, progress. So that is the nature of nature, that is the habit of the nature. So, if you overlook it, overhear it, you don't want to hear the inner voice, you don't want to be aware of the body actions, then naturally you forget it. That is what happens with ignorant human beings. They overpower the nature. They live an unnatural way of life. Spirituality, or it is called naturality, normality, simplicity is called spirituality. Abnormality is known as worldliness. We overlook, we overhear the natural notices. Nature always alerts everyone what is going to happen. That's how the lower beings, they live a natural life because they don't have higher intellect or discriminative power. They don't use it. Natural mind or natural intellect they use. So there is no much complications. They live as per the nature. Everything happens, all the actions they do according to the nature. So it is called bhoga yoni. They don't use that doership I. There is no I, which is super intellect, which human beings have. The intellectual power and the discriminative power only is given to the human beings. As you use it, if you like, you can use it positively or negatively, you are free. So, yogis use it positively and they live a natural life. And that's how they know the time and all these situations, future and past and present, everything is before you. Because the whole world is nothing but a repetition of everything. So the past is future, future is past. Now we have the rainy season, isn't it? Is it first time which you see the rainy season? How many rainy seasons you have seen in your life? So why don't you remember it? Why don't you know the future? Because this rainy season will come again next year. So now the present, it was in the past and it will be in the future. Same thing. So there is no such thing as called future. Everything is at present. Because of repetition. Time repeats everything. Repetition is called nature also. So, in one word, the Vedas said, Yatha Purvam Akalpayat, just as before, because it is only a repetition. So the whole world is at your hand. The past, present, future, everything you know. But knowing it, we don't know it because we overpower it, overlook it, oversee it. We don't care to give importance to it. That is, we don't live at present. We go on every moment from past to future, future to present, present to past, past to present again. In this way, we make all sorts of complications. Yes. So in this way, the time, the situations and light and night, day and night, and all these actions of departure and arrival are calculated by the wise people, and those yogis who are alert every moment, they live at present. Those who have presence of mind, they know all these. And generally the common people, they don't know all this because of overlooking, overseeing, not giving importance to all these. living an unnatural life, doing man marji, means according to their own choice, unreasonable choice. This is how we don't know all these. Or else everything is naturally known to everyone. See, another example I shall give you. Have you gone through the our constitution? Samvidhan. Has anybody gone through it fully? Can you say? Not one. A group of people were there. They made the constitution. Not one Ambedkar. Ambedkar was the chief of it, the group leader. So they have to see so many things. And it is not possible for any individual to go through it in a short time. No lawyer has gone through it every page thoroughly. They see a part of it and they are specialists in one portion. So, how do you expect to know all these rules and regulations? But our law says, if you don't know, you are punishable. How it is? How is it possible? When you go to America, do you first read their traffic rules? Do you? You ought to know all these. If an American comes to India and drives at right hand, right side of the road, he will be punished. Will he be asked, why did you not go through our constitution? No. You ought to know this. Then how it is expected? By all the law and orders of all the countries, how it is expected? You ought to know everything. You know the secret? Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam. All the laws, all the orders, all the rules and regulations, they are not outside in this world. They are brought forth from the heart. Everything is there in your heart. All the knowledge, all the rules and regulations, all the duties and your dharma, everything is there in your heart. If you look within, it reveals to you. That is how everywhere, everybody in all over the world, it is expected you should know everything. It is expectation everywhere. Though it is impossible to know all the rules and regulations of different countries and their constitutions, nobody can know all these. Nobody can go through all the scriptures also. But you belong to some sect, you have some authoritative, some law and orders in your party, in your caste, in your creed, isn't it? But have you gone through all this? you ought to know. This is expected. Why? Because everything you know by the natural way. If you don't are aware to see it, then you are punishable. And you go against the law and order. That's how one is penalized. So tomorrow we shall see again on these timings, how it influences our life, how one should know. One ought to know all these. You are expected to know all these. You need not go through scriptures or constitutions, but you are expected to know all these. Tomorrow we shall see. Further, thank you so much, Hari Om. Agni Jyoti Raha Sukla Sanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayat Agachanti Brahma Brahma Vido Janaha. And the opposite of it, we shall discuss both positive and negative. Hari Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasesate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadguru Bhagavan ki jai. Satchidananda Bhagavan ki jai. Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. Gita Mata ki jai. Hari Om.